everyone, and welcome back to Style by Mackenzie. Today I'm sitting down to do a video different from anything I've ever done before on my channel, and that is going to be spilling some blogger tea. And by that I mean I'm just doing one huge long, I bet this will be over 30 minutes, a video all about blogging and your questions. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me any of your questions because I've been getting so many DMs recently about like to know it, how to land brand deals, how to pitch to a brand, how I've gotten to work with this company, how much I get paid, how much this, how much that. Like so many questions, and as much as I do love when you guys reach out to me and I love getting to respond to those messages and connect with other girls, it's getting to be a lot to just respond this long paragraph explaining in depth, and I want to have a one-stop shop, basically a place where people can go to just kind of learn more about it and where I'm talking through it, because it's a lot easier to talk through it than it is to just type it out. So on Instagram, I asked you guys to leave me your questions, anything related to blogging, and pretty much more about like the business side of it. And I've written down all of your questions here, and that is what I am going to be answering in today's video. So before I start, I do want to put out a little disclaimer. This is all entirely based on my own opinion and my experiences, my own personal thoughts, okay? This is in no way affiliated with any brands, and this is just genuinely like what has worked for me and my experience, okay? And also, I do not want to come off as harsh, but I want people to understand that this is a job, and that is something to be respected. I will go into more detail about what I mean later on in this video. So grab a snack. I have a feeling it's going to be a long one, and without further ado, let's hop right into the first question. So my first question that I got multiple times was, how do you find brands? Do you use an app? So I have worked with many brands. Also, I do want to point out first that I have a very small following compared to a lot of people, but to others I have a pretty big following. I have about 4,000 followers on Instagram, a little bit more than that, and I have 2,000 blog followers. I have over 200,000 blog views, and I've been blogging since January 1st, 2016. It's important to note that I started my blog and my Instagram, stylebymackenzie.com and Style by Mackenzie, on the same day, January 1st of 2016. So I've been at this for 3 years and then some. So 3 years and some change. And that's something that I really want to make clear to people, because my growth has been huge for some people, and to others it hasn't been. And comparison will absolutely destroy you as a blogger. I do not recommend putting yourself down that little rabbit hole, because it will discourage you from any passion that lies within inside. So anywho, how do you find brands and do you use an app? So I do not use an app necessarily, but I am a part of Influencer, which kind of matches you with brands that are all beauty based pretty much, and I've only ever landed 2 deals with them, one with Ole Henriksen and one with Laura Mercier. They pretty much you review things. The lighting is super weird, it's really cloudy outside, so it keeps going in and out. I'm sorry. Anywho, so Influencer is pretty much all beauty based, and you have to do a bunch of reviews in order to finally get sent a product. I have had really great experiences with them, but in the 1.5 years that I have been partnered with them, I've only ever gotten 2 deals. You don't necessarily apply to deals with them, you're just randomly sent a product that you can review. So really good experience with the products that I've used from them, but like I said, it's not something that you apply for. I am also a member of Brand Backer, and Brand Backer is how I land a lot of my skincare collabs, like my Clean and Clear, Neutrogena, Peter Thomas Roth, a couple of others. And basically you apply to these campaigns, and they are all for in exchange for product. And I really love the products that I have used from Peter Thomas Roth and from Neutrogena and from Clean and Clear that I've landed through Brand Backer. I do want to note with Brand Backer that you do have to submit a rough draft, and then you have to get that approved, and then you upload a final draft, and that's kind of how the process is for that, and you do have to apply for it. So you may not get accepted. Pretty much I've found the first deal I kind of had a hard time getting accepted into my first deal, and then after I landed my first one, I got more frequently. Once they see that you're credible, they will start accepting you into other campaigns, if that makes sense. So those are the only other 2, and those are pretty much have landed me maybe 5 deals. I don't they're not fashion based. Usually they're almost always beauty based, and I've had a great experience with them, but that's not how I work with brands most of the times. A lot of times brands will reach out to me, and other times I will reach out to them, and I'm going to go more into detail with that with other questions. The next question I got was, how do you build your following? So high schooler, and I have lots of friends that follow me, but that probably only makes up like 200 of my followers are like people that I know personally, and the rest is basically through hashtags, through engagement groups, through adding your location, tagging other brands, and engagement is absolutely everything. If you do not engage, people will not engage with you back, and that's just the way it is. You have to devote time every single day to like and comment on other people's stuff if you want people to like and comment on yours. That's just the way it is. You do unto others what you want them to do unto you, and that is very much how the Instagram and blogging world works. So building your following, like I said, I don't really have a huge following, but I am very, very engaged with the following that I do have. I would highly recommend switching your Instagram over to a business account. I think that becoming a business makes you a lot more credible. Brands are going to reach out with you. You should always have your email in your bio. That way companies can reach out to you. They know how to get into contact with you. And as far as building your blog following goes, if you have a WordPress, it's a lot easier. And then when you go self-hosted, you kind of are more on your own. You're not necessarily engaging with WordPress users. And it's pretty much all based on your SEO and getting out there and building an email list. So the blog following is slow and steady, and it happened for me pretty much all at once. I had 300 followers 1 month, and then within 2 months later I was reaching 1,000 followers. But I spent hours like reading and engaging in the WordPress reader. So depending on what kind of blog you have, that's different, but your views are entirely different from your follows. So like I said, I've had over 200,000 views over my few years. Last month alone, I did 25,000 views, which is a huge deal for me. It may be small to others, but that was pretty big for me, especially because I am in school. So I spend all of my time doing my work, responding to emails, shooting looks, editing, posting, Instagramming. Like all of that is spent in my own free time and like outside of school and extracurricular activities. So I'm sure that if I had endless time to engage, and if I was a full-time blogger and Instagrammer, like influencer, that my following would be a lot higher. But I would say on average I probably spend at least an hour a day on Instagram engaging and responding to people and stuff like that. So the next one I got is how can a small account reach people / land sponsorships and brand deals? And I have some thoughts written down that I really wanted to make sure I included in this because I have a very strong opinion on this. And what I want to say is you're not going to land a lot of deals when you're small. And that stinks, but that's the way it is. Like if you have under 1,000 followers, very few brands are going to want to work with you. And that sounds harsh and it sounds mean, but it's kind of the way it is. I landed my first brand deal in March of 2016, so I'd been blogging for about 4 months with Warby Parker. They reached out to me via email, and it was honestly a huge deal. They should have never reached out to me when I was so small. I was shocked that they did, but at that time I was blogging 5 times a week. And the thing about being small is it's not about your size, it's about your content, your quality, and your consistency. And because you're small, you're inexperienced, and that's the main thing about landing deals. If you're inexperienced, people do not want to work with you. Let's give an example. If, let's say interviewee A has worked 3 jobs before, they have job references and they have things on their resume and they have all the skills to do it. They're obviously going to get the job over interviewee B, who has all the skills and is qualified for it, but they don't have any references and they've never worked a job before. Like A is going to get it just because they've had experience and they've been in the workforce. And I know that that's hard, but once you land the first brand deal, so many doors will be opened up to you and you will realize that there are deals and stuff, but getting that first one can be tricky. So just always, like I said, keep your email in your Instagram bio and just wait it out, guys. Patience is a virtue, but this is part of the process. Like being patient and waiting is part of the process, guys, and it will humble you like no other. You will be told no and you will have to go through a waiting process, but you need to work on being a better you before working with someone else. And that's just the way it is. You need to have 1,000 followers. You need to have some viewers. You need to have some comments on your posts, like people that are engaging with you. And you need to be consistent. Like if you're only posting on your blog once a month, brands aren't going to want to work with you. What's made me such a well-rounded candidate, and although I may not have many Instagram followers, is I post on my blog consistently. I've never been on the blog. I've never been missing from the blog longer than a week at a time, and I've made it known that I will be gone for that week. I've always been consistent. Like right now I'm uploading Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I've pretty much stayed with that schedule throughout most of my blogging career. Some days I went Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Sometimes I go Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, depending on the month. But for the most part, I've always been uploading at least 3 times a week, pretty much. So you need to have some posts. Like your blog posts are part of your resume, guys. Like that is what brands look at to see your work. That's a representation of who you are as an employee. So I know that it can be tough being a small blogger, but wait it out and work on being a better you. Create better content, and then other people will want to work with you. Reaching people, it's all about hashtags and just engaging. Like go into your Explorer, go through who other people are following. Like probably 3 times a day I go through who, like one of my favorite bloggers, who are they following and who are their followers, and just go down the list. Go down each one and like 6 of their pictures, comment on 2 of them, give them a follow if you like them. But don't just follow someone and never like or comment on any of their pictures, because it's unlikely that they're going to follow you back. You need to engage with them and show that you're really interested in their content. Okay, so my biggest piece of advice for a high school girl hoping to start a blog or fashion Instagram. I wish someone had done a video like this when I was starting my Instagram, but my biggest piece of advice is just go for it. Do not care what anyone else is going to say about you. I had so many nasty people when I started my blog, and people that were just like, oh my god, I can't believe you care so much about what you look like or what you wear, and you just spend so much time devoted to this. Like I had a lot of I'm not bullies, but nasty comments thrown my way, and it's something you have to get over. I kind of touched on this in my Style by McKenz Turns 3 blog post, but you have to go for it. If it is something that you want to do, you will never ever know unless you just go for it. The risk of failure is so much smaller than the risk of reward. The reward that I've gotten from starting a blog has been so huge in all aspects of my life that it's so worth it compared to the few risks that it took starting it. So my biggest piece of advice would just be to go for it and be true to yourself and understand wholeheartedly that it takes time. Been at this for 3 years consistently, and I'm still so small, but there are so many people asking me questions, asking about how I got so big, and that means something, because there's always going to be someone better than you. Whoa. Is there a certain image you feel you have to uphold? Not really. Because I am a teenager and I'm only 17, I feel like there weren't really that many teenage bloggers when I started, and when I joined 3 years ago, there were pretty much maybe 20 in the niche on WordPress and other bloggers to follow, and over time there have been so many more teenagers in the blog world. I know YouTube is way different, it's a lot bigger, but in the blog world and on Instagram there really weren't that many younger influencers, and now there are. I don't really feel that I need to uphold a certain image. I mean, I've been pretty honest with you guys throughout all of my years of blogging, and I've been super open, I feel about my life and what blogging has been for me, and I don't feel I really need to look a certain way, because I don't know, if you don't like my stuff, then just don't follow, I feel like. My next question is, what is it like balancing school, blogging, Instagram, and etc.? So I've gotten so many questions about how I am productive and how I plan out my days, and I did a day in my life over on my Instagram, Style by McKenz, a couple of weeks ago, and so many people messaged me about it. How are you like this? How do you get it all done? And honestly, one of the answers is my planner. I am such a planner junkie. It's basically the way that I keep sane, and if you guys want to see an in-depth of my planner video or blog post, let me know, because I've been kind of toying with the idea of doing that, but I'm just not sure if people would be interested in that. But balancing school, blogging, etc. has been a challenge over the years. I'm not going to lie. I'm a part of everything. You guys know that I'm a part of honor societies, I'm part of student government, I'm a cheerleader, I'm a baseball manager, I'm fashion club president. I'm involved in so many other clubs. I've had so many student service learning hours over the years. I have a great GPA. I'm in 5 AP classes. I'm editor-in-chief of the school newspaper. I'm involved in everything, and I'm a super go at it kind of person. I want to do everything. I'm very type A. And that's kind of how I've always been, so I'm better when I'm busier. That's pretty much my motto, and blogging has really allowed me to find out my true self, who I am as a person, and balancing school and blogging has always come kind of naturally to me, although it's been a hard natural, if that makes sense. So pretty much every day I go to school and then I come home. Right now, and I usually cheer for at least one basketball game or wrestling game like a day. I like always have something going on, but it's usually at night. In the fall time, I had practice until 6 for cheer, and then come March 1st, I'll have baseball every day, and that will kind of like make it so that I'm busy every day after school. But in this specific season, I am home after school, so when I'm home, I sit down and I film videos. When I get home from cheer or during baseball season, I pretty much like film everything and shoot everything on the weekend. And because right now I like have a little more freedom, my sister's home, I do end up shooting at least one blog post for the week after school, but a majority of my content is shot on Sundays with a family member. Usually my dad takes my pictures. My sister does take a majority of them, and she did take almost all of them for the first 2 years, but she has a job now, so my dad takes a lot of them. My mom also helps out. Anyone that pretty much can help does, and balancing that just comes with budgeting your own time and your time management. I've always found that Sundays was a great day for me to get stuff done. If it's raining, I'll shoot a lot after school, or I'll make time to come home early to get a pocket of sunshine. Like, I'm just a very self-disciplined person, and that's really helped with my blog success over the years, and I'm someone that always wants to do more, so blogging 5 times a week has always come pretty naturally, and just like I've always been really motivated to do it. It's just a matter of if my resources around me can agree with that. Like, can I get a photographer for 15 outfits in a week, or is the sun going to be out the one day that I'm free this week to shoot all these looks, or is it going to rain and then I'm kind of like in a rut, I guess. So balancing school, blogging, Instagram has come kind of hard, but it's also come kind of naturally at the same time. I will say that when it's bad weather or I'm like super busy, I basically just like in the car on the way to school, I'll be responding to comments. In between classes, I'll respond to comments. Like during lunch, I come home during lunch, we have an hour-long lunch. And I almost always am writing a blog post. In journalism, I'm always getting ahead on my next day's content. I constantly am checking my email and responding to people as soon as I can. So that's pretty much that. So my next question was, how do you plan content when you're super busy? And I kind of answered some of that in my last question, but I'm pretty much always super busy. Like, I'm pretty much always go, go, go. And planning content like comes pretty easy because I'm at a stage in my blog where like I have brand deals, so those kind of posts that are required of me like take up days in my blogging schedule, if that makes sense. Like in 2016, I would like sit and I would be like desperate for ideas. Like I would have no idea. I would like have to just think really out of the box and get creative. And now like when I do a post with Shein or with Zaful, they're like, I need this video and I want a blog post to go with it, like featuring a couple of outfits. So like that pretty much fills up content for me, which is kind of nice because it like takes off the pressure. But I pretty much at this stage just do whatever I want to post, like whatever anyone's requesting or whatever I want, like what I've been styling lately. I've always posted weekly wrap-ups on Sunday. But planning content when I'm super busy is just pretty much like planning content all the time. However, I don't know if this person means like how do I plan content like ahead of time, because a lot of you guys know that like I go away in the summer. I go to Wisconsin for a couple of days and then I'll be at the beach, and maybe I'll be gone from my house for 2 weeks. So whenever that happens, I'm usually home because it's the summer and I'm not at school or working or anything, obviously. So I will wake up in the morning, I will maybe film my makeup tutorial like while that's me getting ready, and then I will have all of my outfits laid out, and then as soon as my sister wakes up, we go outside and we'll just grind it out, basically take all of those outfits. I really don't go places to take my pictures very often. I pretty much am always in my backyard just because that's easiest for me. I can run inside and change. I hate changing in the car more than anything. I'm trying to get better about going places to take my pictures, but it's just really convenient to take them at home. So like in those summer days, I'll maybe shoot like 9 looks that day, and then I'll film a video, and then the next day I'll edit all those pictures and start writing those posts. That's like kind of how I do it in the summer. I budget my time a little bit differently, but now like a typical Sunday for me would be waking up, having a slow morning in bed, writing my weekly wrap up, making my bed, maybe filming one video because I'm trying to get better about filming. So I'll probably film like 1 video every Sunday, and then I'll shoot at most 5 outfits. And then I'll edit those pictures and import the pictures for the week, but I won't necessarily write those blog posts yet. I'm pretty like last minute when it comes to writing blog posts. Not like last minute, but I don't necessarily pre-write blog posts during the school year. Pre-writing blog posts is more of like a summer thing when I'm like preparing to go on a trip or going somewhere or just like on a day-to-day basis. Do you have or use a media kit for pitching to brands? Yes, I have a media kit. It's a free template that like comes from Canva, which like anyone can sign up for. Canva is like a super well-known thing in the blogging world. And I have a little template. It says like some of my most known stats, like probably like 15 of the brands that I've worked with. A couple of people that I'm affiliated with, like to know it, influencer, reward style, shop style, stuff like that. And then a little bio about. The thing about blogging or media kits is that like you don't want to write everything that you've done on it. That's not what the point of it is. The point of it is to be a resume to showcase your best qualities, your best work, your best talents. Like, what are your favorite deals that you've done? What are your best stats? Not your daily, weekly, and monthly. I don't want to know those things. I can do the math. I can multiply your week times 4 and get your month. And then I can multiply that to your year. Like, you only want to put out the things that showcase you best if you do use a media kit. I have landed some of the best deals, like my favorite brand deals ever, without a media kit. Sometimes I will throw the media kit in and just say, hey, if you want to learn a little bit more about me, I did include my media kit, but I don't necessarily freelance to the point where a media kit would show my pricing for anything, and that is like the main purpose of media kits, is to show how much you charge for a blog post or a YouTube video. And because I'm not in that circumstance at this stage in the blog or my YouTube career, I don't use a media kit for that reason. But I do have one, so I don't use it all the time. The question that I got most often is, do you reach out to companies or do they reach out to you? Like, sort of, what's your process? So, alright guys, so as I've been talking, I'm realizing that this video is getting so long, so I think I'm going to split it up into 2. So be sure to check in for part 2 in the next couple of days because it will be up. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this back to back or not, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you in part 2 coming soon.